And until he has a World Cup and he took his team to a World Cup or took his team and become the best player.
Or Euros, something.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Hello everyone and welcome back to The Final Whistle. Firstly, before I even tell you what this video is about, even though you've already seen it in the title, give this video a like, comment to say that you're here, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, hit the notification bell, and let's get into the video. So today we are discussing one of my hot takes actually. I said, apparently it's a criminal offense, apparently I should be locked up, throw away the keys, but I said that KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, will go down as a better player. He will end up going down as a better player than Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
So we thought, you know what? Let's have this debate properly. Let's discuss this properly. And then, of course, see what you, the viewers, think about this debate. Now,
You get your point.
when we say better player, this it means different things to different people. Some people take it as technical ability. Some people take it as when people look back at their career and look at their achievements, who would we say achieved more? I am talking about both together. I'm talking about overall, who will we say was the better player?
Right.
And I clearly said De Bruyne. And just for the people who somehow didn't watch the hot take video, I don't know why they
I don't know why.
Yeah.
If I go watch it now.
Yeah, go watch it now. But anyway, just for anyone who didn't watch it, the reason why I said KDB will go down as a better player than Ronaldinho is because in terms of his contribution to game by game, right? I feel as though Ronaldinho changed Barcelona.
Yes.
But KDB, his contribution game by game, consistency, winning titles upon titles, 5 titles, with 3 of them being in a row, right? Champions League, winning the treble, being a focal point of that team, I think that makes him the better player. What do you think?
See, your points aren't invalid, right?
Thank you.
My issue with what you're saying comes when the manner of where you're saying it. You're saying like it's clear cut. And
Yeah.
for me, it's just not that simple.
It's not.
The reason being, a couple episodes ago in a video I spoke about, I think it was during the Brazilian video, we talked about Ronaldinho and his impact. And I also spoke about how winning a Ballon d'Or it was a hot takes video when I said winning the Ballon d'Or in the past is harder than winning it now, right? And then having saying that, Ronaldinho winning it in 2005 with players like Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Neved, you know what I mean? These players, Figo, these players that were still playing constantly at a good level, and he won it amongst them as the best player in the world. It means something, it means weight. Now, when we fast forward it, a couple years, and then Cristiano Ronaldo came into and started winning Ballon d'Ors year after year after year, it does take away from the fact that obviously great players like Kevin De Bruyne weren't able to win it, right? Fair enough. But in this era, Modric was able to win it, and Benzema was able to win it, right? In both years, De Bruyne wasn't retired. He was there. He was able to play it. And I'm not saying that he was not good enough to win it, but he still is able to win it, especially nowadays. So all I'm saying is that and for me, Ballon d'Or still holds the weight. Nowadays, it doesn't mean as much because they know it's all a PR stunt and stuff, but it still holds weight. Being the best player and being acknowledged by everyone in the world as the best player in the world, it holds something. And you need that.
Can I say one thing as well? I won a World Cup. He won a World Cup and he was pivotal in that World Cup team.
He did win the World Cup.
There actually is a bit of an argument to be had that, Brazil's team and Belgium's golden generation, Hazard, De Bruyne. I don't care what other people say. Because,
Lukaku.
Yeah, Lukaku. Don't care what people say. Vertonghen and Alderweireld. When at the top of their game, what a very, very good duo. Courtois. You had so much talent in this team, and you're telling me that Kevin De Bruyne couldn't be that one creative spark like he was domestically, internationally for his country. Cool. Another thing I'm going to say is that De Bruyne's impact on City is not as big as Ronaldinho's impact on Barcelona. Because Barcelona, at the time that he joined Barcelona, we're not the Barcelona that we know now. That have you won 3-4 Champions Leagues, that have, dominated La Liga. That was not the case. He was their statement signing. You could say that, you could almost compare it to the signing of, I think it was Romario in the early 90s, in the sense where when they signed Ronaldinho, this is what changed the legacy for Barcelona.
Yeah.
We all know that iconic moment when Messi came on to replace Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was Messi's mentor. And he was the one that kind of set them up in that early 2000s period to start getting the likes of TH14, like Eto'o, Ibrahimovic, all of these players. Do you know what I mean? It was because of Ronaldinho. If Ronaldinho wasn't there at Barcelona, who knows where Barcelona
People
would be?
wouldn't. He was like kind of a magnet to those great players that played for Barcelona
Exactly.
because Ronaldinho was there.
Obviously,
Now,
Obviously, they still had Iniesta, Xavi, Messi coming up through the ranks and whatnot. But who knows? They might not have propelled onto such levels of greatness in that 2006 to 2014 period. I want to say.
Look, I appreciate everything you're saying because I think, don't get me wrong. That's not me saying that Ronaldinho wasn't a great player. Of course, great player, world class, one of the greatest of all times. And I agree with what you said about how he changed the way Barcelona were looked at as a club. I think I remember seeing that Ronaldinho was only the second player after Maradona to be applauded at the Bernabeu by Real Madrid fans. So I get that, and I really appreciate that. But I guess it goes back to what you value. Right? And you mentioned the World Cup, and I value the World Cup. It is the greatest tournament in the world.
Yeah.
Now, my problem when you look at, he's won the World Cup, and yes, he was a pivotal part of that World Cup. But when you look at the World Cup happens over the period of how many weeks? The Premier League happens, and the toughest league in the world happens over a period of 38 games. Right? In the toughest league in the world, to be at the center of that team and to win it 5 times.
possibly 6.
Maybe 6 if they win it this season.
Yeah.
And you don't know for next season. Obviously, so De Bruyne still has more seasons to come as well.
I
Now,
hear
I'm going to
that.
defend you quickly. I'm going to defend your point, right? Because I saw when we spoke about in the hot takes videos that people were in the comments, and you guys need to disassociate great players and nostalgia. Nostalgia's killing you guys, right? And it's killing you guys. He was a great player. A lot of the time he was the player that a lot of us looked up to when we was playing football. We want to be like Ronaldinho, we want to be like Rooney. The streets won't forget players, you know what I mean? Those type of players. But nostalgia is killing you guys. Not to say that like Ronaldinho wasn't a great player. He was, but the nostalgia is killing you guys, and the like for the player is killing you guys. Having said that, I still believe that Ronaldinho as a player and De Bruyne as a player, your points are valid, but our points are valid, and I think it's very close. And I feel like until that's the only thing. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying you're right, but I feel like for me personally, I think Ronaldinho edges it, and until De Bruyne has something of value, although that's not team wise, because he's won Premier Leagues, that's great, and he's won Champions League. He's won a treble, which is absolutely amazing. And to be fair, I agree with you that I think he was the focal point in that team. But he needs to be regarded as one of the best players in a certain amount of time. Do you know what I mean? Not just Premier League wise, but across the world. He needs that recognition as you're the best player in the world. And until he has a World Cup and he took his team to a World Cup or took his team and become the best player.
Or Euros, something.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
You're looking, I think what you're looking at is the value of a trophy, which trophy should be valued, right? And the value of the Ballon d'Or. I'm looking at the value of consistency, right? And I think it's unlikely that Bruyne is going to win the Ballon d'Or. However, if I asked you guys, who is the best Premier League midfielder of all time, and not just you guys, but if you ask everyone, who's the best Premier League midfielder of all time, most people these days will say De Bruyne. That in itself, to me, is an accolade. He may not have an award to say, oh, here you are, De Bruyne, best Premier League player of all time. Best Premier League midfielder of all time. But I think most people are starting to realise that, yes, he is. So it's not like, he hasn't got the Ballon d'Or, but we know that he's been also not just the best Premier League midfielder of all time, but in the last 5 to 10 years, he's been the best midfielder in the world.
Has he?
I think it's very debatable with people like Modric.
I think he's up there, but
either way, we don't need to have that debate now. But the way that some people would have considered Ronaldinho as one of the best midfielders in the world then, it's the way that people would consider De Bruyne as one of the best midfielders in the world. I think you also need to factor in that, listen, the football now and football back in the day, there's 2 different eras. And I feel like when you look at football nowadays, is going into the age of consistency, which is great for us as viewers in having week after week these great players. But you need to remember, this wasn't always the case.
Was not.
It wasn't about consistency.
Hold on. Until Messi and Ronaldo up the standards and of their aliens, where consistency, if you don't have consistency, you're not one of the greatest players, because those two are on a different level. And until you match them for consistency, you can't be regarded as a great player. But back in the day, it was more eye test than anything. You could look at a game and be like, this guy is the best player on the pitch. This guy's the best player in the world. And he doesn't have to do it week in, week out, because one day he can turn it up and be like, he can change a game. And that's how we saw football matches.
That's fine,
even R9, like, he was good. He was great, in fact. But it wasn't every single game he was scoring like Haaland every single game. He was scoring goals, but it wasn't bang, 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 consistently all the time. It wasn't really like that. Games wasn't like that.
Also, isn't there like a crazy thing that I think R9 never won the Champions League or something like that?
Yeah,
like,
he never
it's a
won
thing
it.
where I do get it about accolades and how much you win, but then you do have to factor in that it's not basketball. You know what I mean? Where someone like KD or LeBron can just steer you to the championship and that's it. There's a lot more play. There's a lot more into it when it comes to tournaments and things like that. So I feel like saying that, yes, I know he won the Premier League 5 times and might do it 6 times. I'm not even trying to pass it off as something that's light. But I think when you're comparing the individuals, yes, it is good to compare those trophies in an extent. But when it's the thing where like City have been the best team in the league for the last decade and Barcelona, when Ronaldinho were there, were not, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, but then if you're gonna make that argument, then we have to be fair and say, when you mention Belgium, it's not just on De Bruyne, then it's on the other players as well. It's the same argument.
But De Bruyne was the best player in that team.
Yeah, and same for Man City. He's been the best player in the team and they've been winning it.
I think it's difficult.
I was gonna actually, no, go on.
I just think it's difficult to prove or to say one will go down as a better player. And I feel like your argument is valid and your argument will be right. And I will say you're right as soon as he has that for me.
Yeah.
For me.
Then
I'll 100% agree with you. But until that happens, for me personally, just in terms of a better player and all round and what he's done for the game of football in general, for the football, us viewers, what he's done for football and wanting us to love football. Ronaldinho's one of the people that made me fall in love with football.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I feel like people nowadays are not looking at De Bruyne and be like, oh, I want to be like, you want to be like De Bruyne. But
the younger ones, you're saying that because when Ronaldinho was playing, we were very young. The people who are of the age that we were when Ronaldinho was playing at his best are saying that they want to be like De Bruyne. Don't get it twisted because we're younger and we've seen a range of players now.
Yeah.
But also, I think it comes to one question, which people always hate this question, and we'll use this to like round up the video.
Go on.
You've got one game, whether it's a World Cup final, Champions League final. Who do you want to start for you?
But they don't play the same position, bro.
No, but they did. No,
don't do that.
Ronaldinho played most of his games as a cam, not as a left winger.
He's a winger, man.
He played most of his games as cam.
I get what you're saying.
If you could say you had, all right, you had Man United or any team in the world, right, or Arsenal, any team in the world, and you were given a budget and you were told you can pick with this budget KDB or De Bruyne to come into your team,
or Ronaldinho.
KDB or Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Who are you choosing? For me,
at their prime, for me, I will pick Ronaldinho.
You would pick Ronaldinho in his prime, but not KDB in his prime.
I'm picking Dino.
I would because there's someone else that I could pick in KDB's position. I could pick Modric. I could pick a range of players that can do make what KDB can do, but what Ronaldinho can do, not many can do. When he was in
cannot. The closest to replicating the style of play of Dino and even just the magic is Neymar.
And even still, it's hard to reach it.
Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
But I mean, listen, you let us know. Am I wilding? Is he wilding? But let us know in the comments because I think it's a very, very good discussion to have. To be fair, so round of applause for Raph for that. It's a good debate point. But let us know in the comments: are we wilding? Is Raph wilding? Who would be or who would go down as a better player when KDB retires? Does it depend on a Ballon d'Or, a World Cup, or is he already a better player? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. Let us know what you want to see in the future. And please check us out on our socials. We're doing really, really well there. We want to boost it up a bit more. So let's see you there and comment below. Raph.
Tell a friend.
Peace.